All right, happy Friday, you guys. So a couple of topics for today's follow-up Friday. Nothing too crazy. First one is takeaways from the Multifamily Insiders webinar that we had this past Wednesday on December 5th. And we're going to have a quick marketing minute. And also to follow, and probably the most important, as we look to close out the year at an all-time high, which I think everyone's kind of pushing for that, is reputation management. So I just wanted to share a couple of things relative to reputation management. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. So first topic was Multifamily Insiders webinar from this past Wednesday. Again, it was on December 5th. And based on the attendance list, it looks like a good majority of you guys did attend, which I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the support and taking the time out of your busy day. I know it's not easy to do that, specifically an hour. Although it feels like it flew by for me, it certainly is a big chunk of time and takes away from other things that you guys are doing every day. So again, I really do appreciate it. But the biggest thing is I would love to hear what takeaways you have. And I'm sure you've already thought about it a little bit. And I just want to make sure the teams are involved with that and talking about those takeaways. So please, if you haven't already, get with your teams on that. And then part two is, if any of those takeaways that you did have, is there any sort of implementation that you're going to get to or strategize and then implement something over the foreseeable future based on the webinar? I would love to hear that from you guys as well. All right, so this piece here is the marketing minute. Now, I'm actually surprised that I've never come across this, or this has not crossed my mind before to this extent, but I'm sure some of you have thought about this before. But for those of you that aren't familiar with doing something like this, I thought it was incredible and really not overly expensive, so and easy to keep it replenished, much like a WOW fridge, but on a smaller scale, and honestly easier to manage than that as well, because it's going to be close to you or wherever the deliveries are happening. So I shared it with the Upper East call, but if anything, I'm just putting it in front of you again. And for those of you that have not seen it, thought it would be a great time to share it with you on today's follow-up Friday. So first thing that comes to mind, delivering packages is the worst. I don't know why they would want to do that career, but it is incredibly difficult. They're working 12 to 14 hours a day, I feel like, if not more. I can't even fathom that sometimes. And on top of that, they have to deal with their supervisor telling them one thing. We're trying to guide them another which way because it's going to benefit us better. And they're caught in the middle, and it's really just a difficult balance. And I think this is just a subtle and easy way to show our appreciation, and that we're grateful for what they do every day, because we know it's not easy, but yet we give them grief and we get frustrated, and then they subsequently they're getting frustrated, and then the rest of their day could be shot. So taking a step back, I looked at this and I was like, this is incredible. It's not going to cost us a ton of money. So take it for what it is. If you decide to use it, great. If not, I understand as well. But I think for the price, I don't know why you wouldn't do something like this for your delivery drivers every single day. But thinking about summertime in Florida, something like this would be super helpful to them, and maybe not so much the hot hands, but on the flip side, cold water, maybe even one of those cooling towels kind of things. And it's not something you have to do every day again, but it's just something from a creative spin and a marketing spin that's not going to cost you a ton of money. And it's really, I think, going to help even for those drivers like Amazon that you don't have the same drop-off guy every single day. But let's say you get that same person and it resonated with them that one day. 2 months later, they come back. They're going to remember us. They're going to be a little bit more flexible and helpful and things like that. So just take a step back. Look at it for what it is and really show your appreciation. During this time, specifically, it's really helpful, I think, for all of the work they're doing. All right, guys, we're going to close out with reputation management. In a few weeks, we're going to celebrate all of our success. We are going to talk about 2017 versus 2018, and I will tell you there's a lot to talk about in a good way. Everything's going to be great. But for today, as we look to close out the year as it relates to reputation management on a very high note, which we are working towards, and I know you are. I can see you guys doing it. I see it on the back end. I see it in review trackers and Facebook and all the social outlets that you guys are using. But I want you to think about the touch points that are available to you and all of the favorable interactions that are happening on a day-to-day basis, weekly, monthly basis. So I'm going to talk about some stats, and I just want you to think about it over the next few days, and we'll talk about it over the next week and on subsequent sales calls. But as far as renewals, and this is all based on November results, we had 36 total renewals as a portfolio. So this is the Southeast and Upper East. So 36 total renewals. We had 215 net applications. So taking out denials, cancellations, and everything else, any adverse actions, we had 215 net applications. And then as far as move-ins, and this kind of goes hand in hand with applications, so there might be some overlap there, but still, we had 224 move-ins for the month of November. And then we had 138 satisfied customers in the Kingsley portal. So grand total, we had 613 transactions that had a favorable outlook on our community for one reason or another. And I will tell you, our review count is nowhere near that. So that doesn't mean we're doing anything terrible or we're doing anything wrong, but it just tells me we have so much opportunity and availability to do so. So just think about touch points, and as everything relates to reputation management, think about it some more over the weekend, and we'll touch on it a little bit next week. But it was kind of just crazy for me to think about that many transactions and that many things that are happening on a consistent basis that will provide us and produce some reviews that we really need.